Lonnie, you're always one who prides yourself on staying ready and being professional. What was it like to be out there, obviously, today?
And I felt like a dream. I've been talking about being able to play in the playoffs and play in some type of atmosphere like that. And I had the time of my life. I can't explain it. Taking it day to day and just being ready.
What have you been able to observe, obviously, for then when your number was called to be effective and impactful as you were?
Just understanding, the game plan, staying disciplined, understanding who we're guarding, and KYP, know your personnel, and, being, on the sideline for so long, I've learned so much from hearing Bron, hearing AD, D-Lo, there's so much knowledge in the court that I've just been a sponge and consuming. So I'm just happy that it's slowly starting to transition on the game, once I get the opportunity to play and, just take it day to day.
You just talked about the two leaders of this team. Talk about Anthony Davis's performance today and the way he bounced back from that subpar performance in Game 2.
I said 3, bro. I said 3. His presence on the offensive and defensive end is one-on-one, and I think that's what makes him so great. He makes it more easier for us to rely and understand that on the back end you got someone that has your back, and he uplifts us. Once he gets it going, I don't think there's no one that can stop us. He's one of the best players in the league, and truly honored to be playing with someone like him.
How do you explain when you guys were down early and it was like 40-29? And then you guys go on a 13-0 run, 30-8 run. What changed in that time frame?
We know when you're playing against the Warriors, you can't let down, but you can't. We got to value every single possession. And I think we looked at each other and understand that we had to step it up a whole nother notch as far as physicality on the defensive end. And our defense transitioned to our offense. The better we play defense, our offense is just flowing like magic because we have so much offensive power. So we understood what we had to do. I think we all knew what was at hold, and we locked in as a family, a team, as far as a team sport, and did what we needed to do.
Especially when you talk about the offense, it seems like because so much attention is on LeBron, so much attention is on AD, really opens up other opportunities for you guys that you have to take advantage. Is that accurate?
For sure. We got so much firepower. D-Lo had, I'm pretty sure, our first 13, if not 15 points, and we got Rui, I can go to the bench 1 to 15. We have so much offensive power that where we just got to understand our role and match our big dog's energy.
So last thing from my standpoint is it's kind of a strange series, especially the last 2 games, 2 blowouts on either side. How do you explain that?
I think that just comes with the game. Changing game plans, understanding what we're doing, and we played aggressive from start to finish. We didn't have no quarters off. We didn't have no minutes off. The game is all about runs. When we got punched in our face, we found a way to stay on our toes and not recede back.
Speaking of momentum, the 2-1 series lead, how important is that for you guys at this point, being back home?
Very important. At least we know what we're capable of doing, night in and night out. But we can't be content. We can't understand that, all right, we got the lead, let's loosen up the gas. So this next game, we got to continue to play to our capability, if not play better than what we did today. And just no contentness.
Energy and effort is certainly contagious, obviously, but when you see it from a guy like LeBron, as you did when he ran all the way to the stands, what does that do? There was actually a couple possessions in a row for him.
It gets everybody going. Myself, AD, anyone, even the bench. It gets you going, seeing that your main guy, your engine on the team that is making sacrifices like that. And it got us to stay locked in, because seeing him do it, you're like, all right, I'm not going to let him do too much. I got to make sure I'm giving out all my effort on the defensive side. So, having them two really uplifts us to a whole nother level.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Even if they make tough shots, to take it out quick. Don't get discouraged because they a hell of a ball club. Just gotta, stay locked in offensively. Push the pace, even if they make it. Share the ball, move it from side to side, and I think, keep doing what we're doing on the defensive end.
Dennis, they're such a great three-point shooting team. They hit 21 in the first game, 21 and a higher percentage in the second game. But tonight they only hit 13. You were a big part of that, how you were shadowing Steph at times. What was key to slowing down their three-point shooting?
Yeah, I think we adjusted. Game 2, Steph did a great job of finding everybody. Draymond putting pressure on the paint. And, finding open shooters. And, we adjusted to that. We started switching. And I think that was great by the coaches. And we talked about it. And game 3, was successful. We won.
One of the biggest adjustments when you guys were down 40-29 and you go on that 20 or 30-8 run, 13-0 run. What was the biggest adjustment in that window?
Doing everything with force defensively, just being locked in and get the ball out quick, rebound the ball, push the pace on the offensive end, move it, and being unselfish. And I think that was the biggest thing why we got the lead like that.
Pretty strange series to see back-to-back games where one team blows out the other and then you guys return the favor.
Yeah, the playoffs is about adjustments and how you respond, and I think they did a great job in game 2 to respond because we got game 1. We did the same thing tonight, and game 4 is going to be even more important for us. And we got to come out with urgency, with a lot of energy as well, and try to get game 4.
Appreciate it, Dennis.
All right.
A lot of smiles in here after the game. That 2-1 lead, what does that mean for you guys mentally?
You gotta enjoy every single moment. Being in the NBA, that's the best league in the world. I think every single day is special, and can't take it for granted. Especially you won against the champs again, game 3. It's big for us, but we're not done. Just want to keep it going.
For someone like yourself that thrives off of energy, obviously you've seen it throughout this roster here in the postseason, but when you got those possessions from a guy like LeBron at 38 years old running into the stands, what does that do for your ball club?
That's on the defensive end, that's where we got to put our head on. that's making hustle plays like that and putting everything on the line. Seeing him after the game, really, don't have no energy no more. That's what we need from him. For our ball club means a lot. I think everybody in here knows we got to do the same thing what LeBron does, match it, and it's just great to see.
Thanks, Dennis.
Marvin, after game 2, you had bemoaned kind of the second and third quarters. That defensively, they scored over 40 in each. Tonight, it was 38 combined in the second and third. Just wondered what you saw defensively, what adjustments you guys made, and how that played out.
We just wanted to keep a body in front of Draymond first and foremost, and I think after that first quarter, guys just really turned it up. They dialed it up with their competitiveness, and just the communication was great. Us being aware of who was on the floor for them, who's coming out, what combination of players are out there, which kind of dictated, some of our coverages, and we were able to switch up our pitches. And but just the competitive edge, that's something we talked about between game 2 and this game tonight was just, we could talk coverages, adjustments, and all of that, but the basic foundation of us executing anything is our approach, our energy, our effort, our urgency. You can audible, you can come out with coverages all you want, but if you don't put anything into them, then nothing is going to work. So us just come, and then sometimes you're not going to get it right. It's not going to be perfect, but if you have a ton of energy, you're competitive, you're competing as a group, individually to a man and as a group, things usually work themselves out. So I just think our guys were just really, really awesome tonight in terms of their competitiveness and doing the little things, covering for one another, getting the ball, pushing it with pace, just playing a really physical, downhill, forceful game, and we were fortunate to come out with the win.
Coach, I know you felt very confident about winning the game tonight, but are you kind of surprised at how, from a scoring standpoint, how lopsided it was?
The things happen. We tried to force them into some difficult situations, and we look up, the game gets out of hand a little bit, but make no mistake about it, the deficit and us winning by whatever 30 doesn't represent who that team really is. Just like us losing the way we did in game 2 doesn't represent who we are. This is going to be a battle to the end, man. You can't rest on your laurels. That's a hell of a team. They're defending champion. They're defending champions for a reason. And, we're thankful to get this one. But, come Monday, we know we're going to have a dogfight on our hands. So, and rightfully so. It's that time of the year, and that's what this is built for.
Darvin, for the third time this postseason, I'm over to you, right? D'Lo had like a flurry of scoring, and now you've won 2 of those 3 games. What type of asset is it to have that, he can kind of go off at any moment, and how does that help your squad?
I think it helps, one of the things we talked about in trying to, be successful against the Warriors, it's not just trying to stop them from making threes and getting them off the three-point line. You also have to keep the scoreboard moving on your own behalf. And so D'Lo is the type of player, he's going to come in, and if he sees us struggling a little bit, he's able to make plays with the ball in his hand. He's able to make plays receiving the ball on the second side or third side action. He's a great catch-and-shoot player. So, and, he just locked in and saw a couple go in early and just stayed aggressive. And whenever he's decisive and aggressive, he's off the charts. And, obviously with all the attention that's being paid to Bron and AD, I mean, it's him, Austin. There are going to be opportunities for those guys, Vando as well, to be aggressive and assertive on offense. And so that's what you saw early. I think he had, our first 11 points or something like that. And, he felt it. He gets into a rhythm, like the kid can flat out score as well as play make. So it was great. It was great to see.
Darvin, what did you think of LeBron's complete game from not scoring to running into the stands to blocking shots to 360 scores in the lane, doing everything for you guys?
That's just who he has to be. That's who he's been and who he has to be this time of the year. That's why he's a champion. The little things. And we had some unfortunate plays also, like some 50-50 balls we didn't come up with, some long rebound tap outs that they were able to get, mishandling the ball sometimes during certain possessions. But, the squad, our team, we did a great job of just having a next play mentality. Obviously a little irritated about not coming up with making certain plays, but just the next play mentality. And I think that's what you saw with him. And again, him putting that effort into doing the little things. And you see a guy like that in year 20, obviously first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 dead or alive ever to play in the NBA. And to see him doing the little things like that, just his screening, him pushing the pace, him finding teammates, him defending, rebounding, it makes it easier to get these other guys to do it.
Yeah, Darvin, when you talk about your defense and the way you guys operate, is it possible to overestimate just how important AD is to that effort?
I mean, he's the catalyst. He's the anchor, man. His activity, when he's blocking shots, changing shots, it's amazing. And, he's locked in to the T. And, really communicating with the coaches, coverages, again, being aware of who's on the court, who's in the game for them, what are we doing, how are we guarding this action, how are we guarding that action, and just his awareness. The ball gets driven, we don't want to just take away the 3 line. They're going to make their fair share of threes. But what we can't do is give up the easy bunnies at the rim in the paint. And he's done a phenomenal job just whenever he's out there, not just against this team, but just overall, just the way he commands the paint defensively. And he's able to step up, switch out on the perimeter, and just force guys into awkward positions and tough shots. And so he's definitely, he sets the tone.
D'Angelo, you had the scoring flurry to start the game, not the first one that you've had in this postseason, especially in this building. Just wondered how you're starting to figure out the spots on the floor, like next to LeBron, AD, and how that's starting to flow as, still you haven't played a ton of games together at this point.
Man, just trying to be in a position to take advantage of, like you said, how they're guarding us. They got some of their best defenders guarding Bron, another defender guarding AD. A lot of teams' best 2 defenders are guarding those guys. So for me to be able to take advantage of it on the backside and create things and be aggressive for myself as well just kind of opens the game up.
You guys have questions for D'Lo, please raise your hand. Melissa?
Hey, D'Lo. You've talked a lot about how you've matured since the first stint with the Lakers till now. How good does it feel to be out there game after game, having these flurries really affecting the game night after night?
It's good. It's good just knowing that I'm prepared for whatever's next. I feel like I was prepared for this situation, prepared for this opportunity now, prepared myself mentally, physically to have success under these circumstances too. Obviously getting traded and things like that. You got to readjust your focus. And like I said, going through what I've been through in my short time as a pro prepared me for almost everything. So just being prepared, getting my mentality shifted to the right place, and then attacking it from there. I've had some success, so might not change that up.
Jim?
With LeBron not scoring, hardly at all in the first period, did you take it upon yourself to say, I'm gonna take that role right now? Is this what you were just referring to?
Bron's a guy that could dominate the game from so many different, aspects. Obviously, a regular fan will recognize scoring, dunking, things that are loud like that, but he still affect the game with passing, with defense, with communication, all those little things that you don't really see on the stat sheet. He still led us, in a way that you might not see. So for me, it was just scoring tonight. Next night it might be passing. So just taking advantage of what they're allowing us to have.
Kurt?
D'Lo, such a unique flow to the game. A, the way you started. B, all of a sudden they're up 40-29, and then you guys go 13-0. How do you describe kind of the flow that got you guys going?
We locked in, honestly. I think we just got stops, and it allowed us to kind of creep back. A few and ones, a few threes, a few offensive rebounds leading to easy layups. Got stops, got out in transition, things like that we probably weren't getting earlier throughout the game. And like I said, once we get off to a good start, I like our chances.
Hi, over here to your right. I know every playoff game is kind of its own entity, its own story, but is there anything that you personally or you as a team can take out of this that you think will help you in game four, excuse me?
Obviously, they're going to adjust, and we got to figure out how we're going to adjust to that and try to prepare for what they're going to adjust for. Obviously, I don't want to speak too much on what our game plan is, but the game at its purest form is simple, and that's what we see right now. We're in a position to where if they take A away, you got to go with B. If they take B away, you got to go with C, and it'll be right there, for you to take advantage of it. So we'll check the film and go from there.
D'Lo, to you, right? You got here from a Minnesota team defensively that was really aggressive. I remember in the playoffs, y'all played an aggressive style. Y'all forced a lot of turns, but y'all fouled a lot. What's it like going from a defense like that to the defense that you play on now where, tonight y'all forced turns, but that's not always how y'all play. Y'all emphasize making sure you defend without fouling.
When I was there in Minnesota, we were versatile, but it was kind of a set program on what we were going to do defensively with the bigs that we had. AD brings a different dynamic to the team to where you can be a little more versatile on the defensive end. And I think that's what it is. When he controls the game like he does, he makes everything easier for everybody else. Gives a guy like me confidence to be aggressive on the ball and around the perimeter, knowing that I have that anchor down there to kind of save the day. So, I just think it's just a shift in mentality. Obviously, the personnel goes into play. So just recognizing it and going with it.
Last three will go Steve, Vince, and then Jill.
Right here. Congratulations on the win. I want to ask you, so when you fall behind by 11, the 40-29, I know you, as a team, any team doesn't want to pressure themselves, we have to come back, but is there in the back of your mind a sense of urgency? We can't let it get any worse and we have to respond at that point?
I don't think whenever the game presents a run from a team, I don't think you're thinking your urgency doesn't go up. They just may have gotten a whistle or a foul or and one or something that kind of gave them some momentum. And that's what the game's all about, knowing that they're going to make shots, they're going to make tough shots, there's going to be 4-point plays involved, there's going to be rebounds, kick out for three, all that's going to happen. That's going to allow them to get some points and have the lead. But eventually when you miss shots like that, we get to get out, we get to respond, and we get to do things like that. So just always sticking to that plan, knowing that there's always a chance. The game's never really over until it is, and knowing that we're capable of matching up with a lot of teams and we're capable of scoring, outscoring a lot of teams too.
D'Lo right here.
to your left. When you guys came in at the trade deadline and the Lakers were where they were, was your mindset thinking that, hey, if we put this all together, we can wind up being in a position to contend? Like, what was your initial just outlook when you saw all the personnel changes made and you were one of them?
Honestly, I didn't know what we had going on. Honestly, I was just kind of going with the flow. I told Rob right away that I didn't know what our team was going to look like. He kind of laughed. And then we continued to make a few trading pieces, and I was just like, okay, our team's kind of filling out. You know, we got some bodies here that gets us over the hump. And just knowing that, you know, who I'm playing with the ADs and LeBrons, not having the chemistry with those guys, I thought it would be I didn't think the progression would be as efficient and as soon. I thought we would need a lot more games under our belt to get that flow going. But as y'all saw, as soon as we stepped on the floor, we had this pop to us that allowed us to keep going with it, going into the next game, going into all these games that mattered to finish off the season. We had injuries, we had all, but everybody had the mentality to kind of step up and fulfill that. And it allowed us to kind of go right into the playoffs with this momentum to where we feel like we can beat anybody and we can guard anybody.
Last question. What do you make of this series? I mean, you guys win the close one in game one. The Warriors win big in game two. You guys win big in game three. It seems pretty unpredictable, just your thoughts being in it.
The playoffs, anything can happen, honestly. When my friends ask me who's going to win this game tonight, when it's Boston, and anything can happen, man. You got to take that in consideration, that it's unpredictable. A lot goes into winning in this league. It's not easy, and players are special. They rise up to the occasion when their backs are against the wall, and it allows teams to kind of create this opportunity for themselves that you probably didn't expect. So watching the playoffs, knowing that anything can happen, the game's never over until it's over, and players are dangerous at this time of the year.
Thanks, D'Lo.
Yep, thank you.
LeBron, you guys have still only been through so many games together because half your roster was kind of out of this team in January and February. As you go through these challenges, like dropping a game by a wide margin and then respond to it with a big win, how do you see that growth playing out in your locker room?
Well, every day is a learning experience for our club. Like you said, we're relatively new to each other, so every time we get an opportunity to come together, either through a practice or a bus ride or a plane, a trip, or a game, it's another opportunity for us to continue to learn each other, continue to get better, and continue to build our chemistry. And today was another example of that.
LeBron, by not shooting in the first quarter, was this another case of you just let the game come to you and let it build along the way?
Well, obviously, you see the way D'Lo started the game. I think he had our first 11, and then AD chipped in, I believe, 7 in that quarter. So it allowed me to kind of focus on the glass. Also had a few assists in that first quarter. It wasn't how the game was playing, but that's just how the game was going. And for me, I'm never a force guy. I've always been a guy, let the game come to me and make my imprint when needed.
LeBron, were you surprised at how you dominated this team, this particular game at home?
I don't want to say we dominated them. I think we played the game the right way. And one thing we were not very good at in game two, we weren't very forceful at the rim. We allowed their pressure to get us on our heels in game two, and we're very good when we're getting the paint. That's just who we are. We do have the ability to shoot the outside shot, but we're a paint team first, and then we spray out for threes or for the perimeter. And I think tonight we just played more Laker basketball and trying to control it that way.
Law.
Ron, to your right, you got to the line and you hadn't scored yet, and y'all were down 7. And at that point, after you made your first couple free throws, the game switched. Like, that was the middle of a 22-point turnaround. How did get into the line tonight and really get into the line all season? How does that spur success for the Lakers right now?
Well, I think for our ball club, or for any, if you talk about guys in the league that have the ability to score and score in bulk, the best thing for them to do is see the ball just to go through the rim. And, they call free throws for a reason, so you want to try to go up there and make them. They're free, and, for me, I saw those two go down, and I believe I'll follow that up with a transition spin move on Draymond with a float over the top. And then we was able to get a stop. I was able to hit a three across from their bench. And then we just started going, and we went from, like you said, down 7, I believe, at one point to having an 11-point lead at halftime. So just try to feed off the fans, feed off our ability to defend, and just put the pressure on them.
Vince.
LeBron, D'Lo was in here a couple of minutes ago, and he said that when the trade was made, all the trades that happened at the deadline, he thought there was potential, but he thought it would take a little longer period of time, especially with the injuries. Are you surprised that it has gelled so quick? I think you guys haven't lost a home game since late March.
Well, obviously, like you said, we had a lot of injuries, and myself, I was out for a few weeks. When we was able to make the trade, I think we played when D'Lo and them guys got here, I think I played 3 games with them. We had some success, but then I went out with an injury in Dallas, and was on the shelf for 4 weeks. But one thing I noticed that how the team just clicked in my absence. So I knew right away once I came back I could fit in and we can play some good basketball. I knew that. I knew guys were playing for one another. Guys were playing hard. We were sharing the ball, and we was playing the way that we envisioned the Lakers to play. And it's resulted in us being in the second round of the playoffs up until this point.
Crystal, to your right.
LeBron, congrats on the win. You spoke about the hot start from D'Lo and AD, only one ball in this game. But how did you feel like your defense affected things, especially early on when things were a little tighter?
Well, I said that after game 2 that no matter what goes on, we hang our hat on our defense. We're one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not the best. And in order for us to reach our potential, we have to defend at a high level. And there's not one team in this league that tests you on that side more than Golden State. So, it keeps us on alert, throughout 48 minutes. Every possession, 24 seconds on the shot clock, they will make you work throughout that whole possession. So, you have to be alert and to test our defense every single possession going against a team that with so much firepower.
LeBron, obviously, job's not finished, but to keep having significant basketball moments with this city, what does that mean to you right now?
Just try to make memorable moments, that's all. And the postseason is the best time in our league. You have an opportunity to play in the playoffs, something that you never forget about, something that you never take for granted. So, the moments we get to play in front of our fans, we cherish those for the rest of our lives, that's for sure.
Chris?
Brian, this series is every other day. You're playing a game. Narratives get changed and shifted each game. I know you're used to this. How has your team, have you been able to evaluate your team and how they handle, things that are being said outside from day to day?
Well, I think just for the young guys that hasn't been a part of the postseason or haven't, not much experience in the postseason, just stay off the TV and stay off social media. You win a game, everybody's the greatest player in the world. You lose a game, they throwing dirt on you. It's literally that simple. It's all about, training your mind for, the next challenge. What's the next challenge? This game is over with. We played well. Okay, cool. But we got another one on Monday, So, if you got a show to watch, or if it's one of your favorite movies, or if you like listening to music, or if you're reading books, or whatever the case may be, or playing cards with the family, whatever, but you stay off social media. And when you watch the other playoff games, watch it on mute, play some music in the background. That's what I do.
Last 3. Melissa?
Hey, Bron, above all else, you're a father. What were the emotions today around seeing Bronny commit to USC?
First of all, congratulations to my son on his next journey and picking a great university in USC. I'm proud of him. This is an incredible thing. I think I told Mike after the game, unless it was like one of my, great grandmothers or great grandfathers or someone that was way before my time. To my knowledge, this is the first one out of the James' game to go to college. Obviously, his dad didn't go to school. His mom didn't go to college. I think my mom stepped on campus for a little bit, maybe a community college or something, but she had my little ass running around, so she couldn't spend much time in the classroom. 19 years old, she couldn't do that. I was 3. So it's very, 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 very exciting, very humbling, and great moment for our family. It's just super cool. He's a great kid. USC is getting a great kid. Obviously, he's there to play basketball, but they're going to be a super surprised how great of a kid he is, even though they've been recruiting him for quite a while.
Switch some of the matchups around and having Austin with Steph and Vanderbilt off and, kind of getting out of their shooters more. But aside from that, just you being the anchor there, what did you see on that end and how did that end up working, especially in the middle of the game?
Yeah, we just tried to make an adjustment. That's what it's about. Each game is its own entity and making adjustments to try to get the victory in. I think we did a good job with that tonight. Switching some of the matchups and tweak the little things of the game plan. And, we go back and watch it tomorrow and try to figure out minor adjustments, minor tweaks that we could probably make for game 4.
Hey, AD, to your right.
Yep.
What's going on?
Hi. Hi, buddy.
Your shirt. Yeah. I know you're locked in and you're focused, and it seems like everyone in this locker room for the Lakers, it's about winning at this point, no matter what happens. But the way your playoffs have gone so far, where your stats spike one game and go lower the next game, have you paid attention or heard any of the talk around it? And if you have, what do you think about that?
I have not. I'm not on social media, so my teammates not talking about it. My circle, inner circle isn't talking about it, so I have not. It's great. Somebody just asked me this question in the locker room, and I said, it's a miss or make league. The same shots I had game 1, I had game 2. I made game 1, I missed game 2. Same shots I had game 2, I had game 3. And I missed game 2 and made game 3. So, I look at it as I just missed shots. I didn't do anything differently. I didn't change anything up. So it is what it is. I go out and try to compete to the best of my ability every night to help the team win. And sometimes it don't work out that way where we win. But I know, especially at this time of the year, I leave it all on the floor, and that's all I can do.
AD, when you think about 3 years ago when you got here and Frank was coaching the defense and how aggressive it was, y'all forced a lot of turnovers, had success with that, with you spearheading that, obviously. Now you're completely different kind of defense as far as the results. Like, y'all don't force a lot of turnovers in general, but y'all also don't send teams to the free throw line, and you've had success from there. What's it like for you being the star defender, if you will, going from one kind of defense and a really aggressive one to now having to lead the way that Darvin wants you to defend?
It's an easy adjustment for me just because I'm defensive-minded. We just try not to foul in general, especially playing against a team like this. They're going to make shots. They're going to make some tough shots, and you don't want to, add to that by sending them to the free throw line. But for me, I just try to, anchor the defense, communicate. I think that's what it is. No matter what defensive scheme you have, it's all about communication. And we did that from day one, since the trade happened, just talking, not having much practice time, communicating and trying to figure it out on the fly. But it all starts with me, on the back line, talking to guys and, voicing my opinion on, what we should do defensively and how we should guard certain guys and things like that. So it's fun. It's fun switching up defenses and trying to figure out how we can manipulate the game on that end. And it's all about, the 5 guys on the floor and the rest of the guys just buying in.
More questions for AD?
Oh.